science, sustainability, and the media at the University of Pennsylvania. He's also the author of the book, The New Climate War. Always good to see you, Professor. Climate Twitter has been louder than usual lately on the warming going on. What factors are in play? What's your level of alarm at what's been happening?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. It's good to be with you. And, we have a number of things going on at the same time, as is often the case. When you see, for example, a warming spike, there can be a few different things going on. In the background, of course, is human-caused climate change, is the warming from carbon pollution. And so we have this ever-rising baseline. Every year on average tends to be a little warmer than the last one. And what we see on top of that, however, is sort of the fleeting effects of things like El Niño. And for a few years, we have been in what's known as a La Niña, where the tropical Pacific Ocean is colder than normal, and that actually leads to a slight cooling of the planet of a couple tenths of a degree Celsius. Now what we're seeing is the flip side. We've gone from a La Niña, we're heading into a La Niña event. And so when you take sort of the cooling from La Niña, which can be a couple tenths of a degree, and you add the warming from an El Nino, which can be a couple tenths of a degree, then the difference can be the better part of a half a degree Celsius. And so we see that warming spike from this transition into El Nino on top of the ever increasing warmth of the planet from rising greenhouse gases.
I guess aside from, but linked to temperatures on land, ocean temperatures are high, ice melt is breaking records. I mean, it used to be that we looked years, perhaps even decades out to see catastrophe. What do you see, though, in the short to medium term?
Yeah, so again, a lot of different things going on. There's the steady warming from rising greenhouse gases, and the planet will continue to warm up, and the oceans will continue to get hotter and hotter until we stop putting carbon pollution into the atmosphere. And on top of that, you have this burst of warming from El Nino, and then on top of that, you have something else that's going on, and it's something we've studied and other scientists have studied, where the warming of the planet, and in particular the pattern of the warming, where the Arctic is warming up faster than, say, the lower latitudes, the mid-latitudes. And it's actually that temperature difference that's responsible for the jet stream. So when you reduce that temperature difference by warming up the polar regions more than the tropical and subtropical regions, you actually slow down the jet stream. And the jet stream, especially in the summer, when those temperature differences are smallest, you can basically get a stagnant jet stream, a jet stream that slows down and wiggles more. So you get those big high and low pressure centers that are associated with extreme weather. And one of those big high pressure centers right now is located over Mexico and southern Texas. And we're seeing, again, record level heating because of an atmospheric phenomenon that's probably being made more common and more intensified by the warming of the planet from greenhouse gases, from carbon pollution.
Right, at the root of the fossil fuels. I mean, I guess it's also it's important to remember, isn't it, that the all we've been talking about, and the wildfires, the droughts, the floods, and the heat waves, they're all within the so-called safer range of climate warming, the 1.2 to 1.5 increase. It's frightening to contemplate 2 or 2.5 degrees of warming, but is that where we're headed?
Yeah, in fact, very briefly back in 2016, we crossed that 2 degrees Celsius warmer than the pre-industrial. We crossed that 2 degrees Celsius warming threshold very briefly. And so we have to distinguish between those excursions where we temporarily cross that threshold, and that's already happened. What we're really concerned about, though, and when we look at the impacts and we talk about the devastating impact of a 1.5 degrees Celsius warming of the planet, that's when the trend line crosses 1.5. So we may briefly cross those thresholds, for example, because we've got an El Nino event that temporarily warms up the planet above that threshold. What we really have to worry about, though, is when that baseline, that rising baseline, that trend line crosses 1.5 Celsius. And that will happen in a matter of a decade or two if we continue to warm up the planet. So we're getting perilously close to that danger threshold, but we can still avoid crossing it if we can bring our carbon emissions down dramatically within the next 10 years or so.
Yeah, and I know you're always a voice of reality, but also optimism, and hopefully that comes to pass.
Stubborn and cautious optimism, but yes.
There you go. Professor Michael E. Mann, always a pleasure. Good to have you on.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Michael.
When we come back, Victor Wembanyama might end up being better than LeBron James, maybe. Why there's so much buzz around a